Mother. At that moment, the bedroom door opened. Kyuji looked at Liu Su, hurried to refine the elixir. Furious Liu Su suddenly picked up, walked into the alchemy room, nodding his head. Qin Zhengyan spoke of the river of autumn. Chai? Thank you. Kyuji glanced at him. The door slammed shut with a bang. Qin Zhengyan smiled, also walked into the alchemy room. Make it harder. Is it possible? Make you a little softer. How can we deal with something so stiff? Very soon. The alchemy room echoed with Liu Su's cry for personal revenge. 4 hours later, the hour of the tiger, in the dead of night, voices from the alchemy room finally transitioned from excitement to hoarseness. Thank you, Deus Su. Help me refine the elixir. HMPH. Qin Zhengyan walked out of the alchemy room, gently opened the bedroom door. The candle inside has already gone out. It seems that the river of autumn has already fallen asleep. He gently placed it on the bed, leaned forward, looking down at the river of autumn. That profile is round and fair. The eyelashes are slightly curled. The nostrils are prominent and upturned. Her red lips slightly parted. You're cutest when you're asleep. Qin Zhengyan couldn't help but whisper a phrase. What did you say? The river of autumn opens its eyes. Qin Zhengyan immediately said, I am saying, you look adorable when you're asleep, gracious when awake. In short, it's uniquely beautiful. Autumn River Yuzhen, glaring at him coldly. When did you learn to be so slick with your words? Qin Zhengyan suddenly bent down, gave a kiss on that fair forehead. You work so hard for me. You've worked hard. Cultivation. 4th level of refining tools. 477. 1000. Skill. 2nd rank alchemist. 1500. Spirit root. Fire attribute middle grade spiritual root. 320. 1000. Ice elemental middle grade spiritual root. 327. 1000. One day, early morning, Qin Zhengyan checked his attributes. Last night was still 5 rounds of dual cultivation, plus 6 hours of cultivation during the day. Raise it to 24 points. Progress on the 4th level of artifact refinement. It's almost halfway through. In another 14 days. Then I can break through to the 5th level of artifact refining. Happier than expected. Qin Zhengyan sat up from the bed. At this moment, the river of autumn is no longer by my side. He walked out of the bedroom. Liu Sasheng looked despondent, lying on the table, clearly early in the morning. Once again, I was pulled up by the river of autumn to cultivate. Liu Su saw Qin Zhengyan, suddenly pointed at him, burst into laughter. Son-in-law, why is your face swollen? Qin Zhengyan sat down with a dark expression. I accidentally fell last night. Last night he kissed Qiu Zhai and was slapped off the bed. Although the two engage in marital activities every day, but each time they never take off their shirts. Except for necessary contact. No other body parts will have any contact, let alone between affectionate couples. Various intimate interactions, for example, holding hands, embrace, kissing, and such. The relationship between the two people is very strange. Jumped straight to the point. Completed the final step. But the feelings are far from it. A couple becoming closer step by step. Qin Zhengyan wants to get closer to Kyuji, walk into his heart. Last night I kissed his forehead. It's just a kind of test. Who knows why Kyuji's reaction was so intense? Although afterwards, the two continued to work as usual for 5 times, but more like a routine task. After the end, the river of autumn still turns its back. just went to sleep. Liu Su leaned in. Look closely at his face. He let out a laugh. Which part of our floor is shaped like a palm? You slapped me hard, didn't you? This heartless man. Every day they squeezed him to the limit. Let the Saintess work so hard for him. Deserved to be hit. Eating. At this moment, Kyuje was holding a bowl. Walked out from the kitchen. Liu Su took a look. My mouth is watering. Beef noodles, huh? But the River of Autumn took the bowl. Placed in front of Qin Zhengyan. Liu Su pointed at his own nose. Miss, mine. Kyujai, he glanced at him. Cook it yourself. Liu Su was speechless. He had no choice but to get up and cook noodles in the kitchen. So delicious. You're welcome. Jai Qin Zhengyan was eating noodles. Said to Kyujai he. Kyujai he silently watched him eat noodles. Suddenly asked, Does it still hurt? Qin Zhengyan stood upright. He raised his hand to touch his slightly swollen left cheek. A hearty laugh. It doesn't hurt anymore. You don't need to worry. The River of Autumn falls silent. Whispered, I'm not used to it. That way, Qin Zhengyan whispered, How about it? I'll help you get used to it. Kyujai he glanced at him. How many slaps can you endure? Qin Zhengyan smiled. As long as I can be more affectionate with my wife, I can take as many slaps as it takes. Lightly caress. When the autumn river opened its vision, got up and walked into the bedroom. Jai, you haven't eaten yet, right? I'll give it to you next. Qin Zhengyan called out. The River of Autumn has already erupted with a sound. The door was closed. Qin Zhengyan touched his face, shaking my head with a bitter smile. I want to melt. The iceberg in my wife's heart. It's really not that easy. 5 days later. Son-in-law, you farted. Su, what nonsense are you talking about now? Why does it smell so bad? I do it. It is erysipelas. Su, hurry up and go outside. Qin Zhengyan and Liu Su quickly exit the alchemy room. Just now in the alchemy room, a foul smell surged from the furnace. This is in the furnace, after accumulating phlegm and blood stasis. The scent that wafts through the air. Smell it a few times. It didn't have much of an impact. But if placed in such an environment for a long time, especially in close contact, it's easy to be infected by erysipelas. Qin Zhengyan deeply understands this. At that moment, Dozian pulled Liu Su out of the alchemy room. Hello, the boil in your furnace. How long has it been since you last cleaned? Liu Su was very dissatisfied. With hands on her hips, she said to Qin Zhengyan, once at Kinglian Gate, the furnace of the Holy Master, there are dedicated personnel for cleaning. He never put any effort into it. Qin Zhengyan apologized. Sorry. Su, please wait. I will clean it up right now. Deng Duo is too domineering. He naturally can't let Liu Su go to clean up. This is not their responsibility either. At that moment, Qin Zhengyan took out 3 ice clear pills. Crushed. Pour it into a bowl full of water. After stirring, it becomes a paste. Went to the bathroom and took off my clothes. Cover this household item completely. Then hold a crystal clear pill in your mouth. At first, there was deep phlegm toxin. He consulted relevant ancient texts. Actually, regarding the methods to prevent erysipelas, it has long been recorded. The one who cleans. Apply the ice-clear paste dissolved in water, or other second-grade spiritual pills that can resolve fire poison are also acceptable. Then hold another one in your mouth. This will maximize the extent. Avoid the invasion of erysipelas into the body. It's just a second-grade elixir. at least 40 to 60 snacks. If this method is used, a pharmacist cleans up once. It's going to take almost 300 snacks. This could buy the lives of several Dan poison masters. She has never trained as an alchemist. Willing to use this method. It's just a matter of basic pharmacy. Dead but still recruiting pennies. The snacks are gone. It's really gone. Now Qin Zhenyan can make money. You are a Dan master yourself. Also a Dan poison master. So you're willing to invest. Put on your clothes. Stepping out of the shower, Liu Su saw that his face was covered in a paste-like substance. Suddenly I felt a wave of nausea. What are you doing? Qin Zhenyan picked up a small bronze crown. There is a simple sealing array outside. This thing is called Dan Du Ding. It is a device specifically used for placing Dan poison. After clearing the Dan poison from the Dan furnace, then put it into the Dan Du top. Seal the toxicity with the sealing array. Then he took it to a designated place in Yunlin town to dispose of the Dan poison. A carbuncle is attached to a snack. Someone will handle it. Su. He deeply understands this point. Put on the gloves that were prepared long ago. Took a deep breath. Kicking the small roof, he walked into the alchemy room. Pulled on. The bedroom door opens. Qiu stepped out. Jai, don't come over here. Wait for me to deal with the erysipelas first. Qin Zhenyan quickly waved his hand at Qiu, even though he had taken all necessary precautions at this moment. It's hard to guarantee that one won't get infected with erysipelas again. Nature is not. Dare to let my wife get close. However, Qiu snatched the Dan Du Ding from his hands. Jingjai walked into the alchemy room. Jai, don't go in there. Qin Zhenyan was greatly shocked. Quickly stepped forward to pull him. Qiu moved his body. I have already dodged his hand. My technique is not afraid of Dan poison. He finished speaking and closed the door to the alchemy room. Where can Qin Zhenyan feel at ease? Hurry and go pull open the door to the alchemy room. Liu Su stopped him. Don't worry. The young lady said it's nothing. Definitely no problem. The two are still tugging at each other. A moment later, Qiu has already come out. All right. Qin Zhenyan looked him up and down. Jai, are you okay? Qiu handed him the Dan Du. It's nothing. Just throw it away. Qin Zhenyan took it. Acquisition integration, and on top of it, there is also an additional magic circle. Qin Zhenyan was shocked by the drowning. This is Kaiyan Kun Nuo Yizhen. Qiu gently poured. It's just erysipelas. A small shift formation is enough. Then he returned to the bedroom. Qin Zhenyan walked into the alchemy room and took a look. At that moment, it hit right on target. Only the red furnace was visible. There is also an additional teleportation array. Just now, Qiu should have been separated at Dan Lu and Dan Du on top. Drew the teleportation array. Through the formation. The Dan poison in the furnace. Transferred to the peak of Dan Du. This method, comparable to manual cleaning. Advanced environmental protection has increased. The most crucial thing is, formation masters are rare. In Yunlin town, there is simply no way to draw it. The array master of the translocation array. In the world of Dan masters, there is a saying. Every alchemist, everyone wants to marry two wives. A spirit master, a formation master, and my wife. As a spirit controller, it's the formation master again. I must have hit the jackpot. 5 days later, Qin Zhenyan arrived at Danfu Tower again. Today is his day with manager Tong. The promised delivery date. Qin Zhenyan's fine silk jade belt in his arms. There is coagulant powder. Su my Dan, Hui Yuan Dan, Inking Dan, 3 pills of ranking Dan. A total of 15 second-grade spirit pills. In addition to the burning cleansing pill, I don't know about the other 4 elixirs. Can it be against the disciples of the sun? Injuries sustained. Entered Danfu Tower. I saw several monks. Came out dejected. Speaking with one's mouth. It turns out it was Jai Zu Dan. Now I've lost out. Qin Zhenyan felt a stir in his heart. These people want to come. It's also a Dan master here to deliver. It's just the elixirs they concocted. It seems like it didn't match the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Arriving at the counter. Tan Jinyin is not here. The guy who knows Qin Zhenyan. Approaching with a smile. Qin Deiyu. The shopkeeper is dealing with other matters. Please follow me. Qin Zhenyan nodded slightly. Followed the buddy into the inner hall. Walk into one of the rooms. The buddy quickly brought over a cup of tea. Qin Daoyu, please have a seat. Manager Tong will be here shortly. After saying that, he left. Qin Zhenyan understood in his heart. Tong Jinyin at this moment. It should be when receiving other Dan masters. It seems there are quite a few competitors this time. Let's see this time. The spiritual herbs given by my wife. Can you be full by pressing? Sit quietly for a moment. Qin Zhenyan simply closed his eyes and meditated, focused on training by myself. Half an hour later, Tong Jinyin has finally arrived. Aha, I cupped my hands in greeting. I'm sorry. Qin Daoyu. Today, there are too many trivial matters in the building. Sorry to keep you waiting. Qin Zhenyan opened his eyes. With a smile, she stood up. Where is it? I arrived too early. The two sat down. No more needless chatter. Qin Zhenyan took out 5 types of elixirs. Yi presented it to Tan Jinyin for review. Coagulation pill. Xiu my Dan. Return to Yuan Dan. Tan Jinyin looked up at Qin Zhenyan. A look of surprise appeared on his face. Qin Deiyu, how did you find out? Yin Yang sect needs these 3 types of elixirs. Qin Zhenyan's testimony. Where can I predict the future? It's just a matter of luck. Did I really guess it right? Tan Jinyin said, we only found out yesterday as well. The disciples of Yin Yang sect entered Tianliu Mountain. Most of them were injured by the sword formation. They are aggressively procuring treatment for sword wounds. Remove the recommended elixir from within the body. In the 2nd rank spirit elixir. It is precisely with the blood coagulation pill. Ziyu my Dan. Returning to Yuan Dan is the most suitable. Qin Deiyu, you delivered it very well. You hit the nail on the head. Tan Jinyin was quite excited. Several alchemists have visited in recent days. But not a single person has refined any elixirs. Can meet the needs of the battlefield Yangzong. I didn't expect that. In the end, it was Qin Zhenyan who won. Indeed, my judgment of people is spot on. Tang Jinyin laughed heartily. Qin Deiyu, according to our agreement, since you hit the mark, then this deal is yours. Qin Zhenyan felt a surge of joy. Gong Shudao. Thank you, Manager Tong. Inquire about the price. Quantity and implementation. Coagulation Dan. Xiu my Dan. Return to the original Dan 10 pieces. A total of 30. A heart for you. 80 spirit stones. Still deliver within 10 days. How are you? Usually a 2nd grade spirit pill. Prices range between 40 to 70 spirit stones. A higher quality one, that is 70 spirit stones. The prices of these 3 types of elixirs. But it was a full 10 spirit stones higher. If this pill is successful, it's 2,400 spirit stones. Qin Zhenyan immediately agreed. And on the Dao, Thank you, Chief Tom. Expensive. I will come again in 10 days. Good. I will wait for you. After the discussion. Manager Tong will handle Qin Zhenyan this time. The 15 elixirs brought have also been collected. Coagulation pill. Zhu Mai Dan. Qi Yuanden. A total of 9. 80 spirit stones each. 3 ice clean Dan pills. 65 spirit stones for 1. 3 burning clarity pills. 40 spirit stones for 1. When Qin Zhenyan walked out of Danfu Tower, there are 840 more spirit stones in the spirit well. Returned to Xiaoqing County. Qin Daoyu. Ah no. Senior Qin. 2 surprised voices came from behind. Qin Zhenyan replied and took a look. And laugh as well. Wan Deu. Zhu Deu. This is a coincidence. It was 2 familiar colleagues from the former Lingdon workshop. Wan Ping and Zhu Lai. Senior Qin. Come in if that's okay. The 2 were also quite pleased to see Qin Zhenyan step forward and greet with cupped hands. Qin Zhenyan smiled and said, "There is no need for such formality between the 2 friends. Just call me by my name." Wan Ping and Zhu Lai exchanged a glance. Laughing heartily, "We are concerned that Qin Daoyu has changed significantly. Dare not be disrespectful. It seems that Qin Daoyu hasn't changed after all. The hidden rules of the cultivation world. No matter the age difference, a person with low cultivation. Everyone should address those with higher cultivation as seniors. To show respect, just like Qin Zhenyan in his past life, workers should address the wealthy as boss as well. However, Qin Zhenyan originally came from the bottom. Now it's just an ordinary loose cultivator. Where would that kind of pretentious attitude come from?" Qin Zhenyan smiled and asked, "How did the 2 friends come to Danfu Tower?" The 2 pulled Qin Zhenyan to the side, whispered, "Have you heard about the tragic defeat of Zhenyang Zongshan Road Mountain? In recent days, Zhenyang Zhenjiang has been buying healing elixirs everywhere. The homeowner is set to go to Zhenyang City with the great Dan Master tomorrow. I want to secure this big deal. It is said to be worth several thousand. The homeowner asked us to check out Danfu Tower. Take a look at the market here." Qin Zhenyan was momentarily speechless. It can't be that coincidental, right? Did I just ruin Paydayu's big deal again? Ruined it. Wang Ping asked. By the way, Qin Daoyu, what are you doing at Danfu Building? Come buy some alchemy herbs. Qin Zhenyan calmly changed the subject. How are Lin Danfang's colleagues? Very good. Let me tell you, the hottest topic of discussion. Qin Zhenyan learned that Lin Danfang's colleagues were all quite good, especially Fang Keo, his daughter placed in the top 20 of the 7 trials at the monastic cemetery. There is great hope for entering the outer sect of Zhenyang clan. That day, Fang Keo had a radiant smile. He unusually treated Lin Danfang's colleague to drinks. Fang Lao has truly endured hardships and is now enjoying the sweetness. Qin Zhenyan was also happy for Fang Keo. It is as difficult for a low-ranking cultivator to rise through the ranks as it is to ascend to the heavens. If his daughter can succeed, it serves as an encouragement for other loose cultivators. By the way, and then there's Yang Fengshen. He was kicked out by the landlord of Lin Danfeng. Once again, the fiancé has called off the engagement. Evil people will eventually face retribution. Wang Ping laughed heartily. Yue Wai Shu Chang. Zhu Lai continued. Qin Daoyu, we also found out. The female cultivator who broke off the engagement with Yang Fengshen, working at the Rouge Pavilion, named Chen Jia. Indeed, quite outstanding in appearance. No wonder so many betrothal gifts are required. After the Chen family cancelled the engagement, refusal to return the betrothal gifts previously given by Yang Fengshen. Yang Fengshen causes a scene at the Rouge Pavilion. I also had my leg broken. Qin Zhenyan felt a slight shock in his heart. It really is the Chen family. He sighed. Yang Fengshen's death was truly deserved. But since that woman has already broken off the engagement, the bride price should also be refunded. This is quite ungracious. It is said that I wait for the young monk. Don't think about marrying in this lifetime. Zhu Lai shook his head. Wang Ping laughed heartily. Why must one marry? I heard the new courtesan at Yihanglu is here. Unparalleled beauty. A bowl costs only 10 ling 10. Zhu Deu, how about we pool our money together tonight? Okay. Speaking of the land of Gulan, both of them had shining eyes. Zhu Lai said to Qin Zhen, Qin Daoyu, why don't you come with us tonight? You are quite the master. The courtesan will surely treat you with special care. Qin Zhenyan quickly waved his hand. I have a wife at home. It is really inconvenient to go to Gulan. A favored courtesan has caused so much trouble. How could I dare to remarry? Then he bid farewell to Wang Ping and Zhu Lai, quickly walked towards Zheyu Alley. Just heard about Jinyang City. Qin Zhenyan couldn't help but think of Mo Zailan. Mo Daoyu should also be in Jinyang City at this time. Wait for him to return. I should have earned more snacks by now. You can leave him some extra scraps. Could help him break through. When the day comes for me and him to settle in, must have a hearty drink. Qin Zhenyan walked away. In a tea house across from Danfu Building, a middle-aged man with a cold gaze. He asked the chubby man with a limp sitting across from him, Are you sure that Qin Zhenyan has already reached the 4th level of Kai refinement? Zhu Senior, absolutely true. If it weren't for his higher cultivation than mine, I would have killed him a long time ago. The limping fat man wore an expression of anger. It is Yang Fengshen. The middle-aged man sitting opposite him. It is Zhu Zhu Senior, I have told you everything I know. You promised me. You need to help me catch the Chen family. Zhu Kun glanced at Yang Fengshen. He immediately became silent. Zhu Kun looked again at Qin Zhenyan's receding figure. Squinting my eyes, a puff of sand rose on his face. The 4th level of Kai training is before me, and unable to fight back. The tricky part is the talisman of the sort he holds. At least this trip to the northern wilderness yielded some results. Let me rest for a few days. It is his time of death. Dad, if someone engages in a duel of magic, what should I do? It is as such. The blood clotting pill must be refined within 10 days. Xiu my Dan, return to the original Dan for 10 grams. Each day I need to refine 3 pills. Su, fellow cultivator, you'll have to work hard for these 10 days. No, I just finished working overtime. It's going to take me 10 days again. Don't be so troublesome. Su, yes. This evening, Qin Zhenyan's home. The familiar dialogue played out again. Liu Su acted under Qiuji's orders. Had to set down the rice bowl. Following Qin Zhenyan, they entered the alchemy room. Qiuji then returned to his bedroom. Take out the seeds. Planting coagulation herb in 5 lingjai pots. Xiu my Dan. The spiritual herbs needed to return to the original state, even those that are worthless. Seeds of ordinary medicinal herbs, also planted together. In these 10 days, Qin Zhenyan plans to seclude himself to refine elixirs. At the same time, one must cultivate and practice dual cultivation. Nature has no time to go outside. Continuously channel spiritual energy into the 5 lingjai pots. 1 hour later, Qiuji paused, breathing heavily, leaving the bedroom. They heard sounds coming from the alchemy room. Liu Su's hoarse shout of excitement. He shook his head, walking into the bathroom holding clothes. Fill the large iron pot used for boiling water with water. The jade palm stretched out. A burst of flame surged from his palm. Quickly heated the water in the pot and lifted his hand. Ripples rise in the pot. Hot water arcs through the air. Fly into the jade bucket. Take off your clothes. A perfect bronze figure reveals. The small paws were lifted. Step into the jade tub. Slowly sat down. Look up. The back of the head rests against the jade barrel. Close your eyes. In a blink of an eye, the water in the jade bucket began to boil. Then it formed frost again. Qiuji's figure grew taller. The fragrant steppes and mountains rise above the water's surface. Long hair dancing. The dark, lustrous hair turned half fiery red, half snow white. The air in the bathroom became half scorching, half frozen cold. A moment later, Qiuji's figure slowly returned to normal. Long hair returns to jet black. The surrounding air also returned to calm. He opened his eyes, in a pair of apricot-colored eyes. Flickering cold light reached the 5th level of Kai training. Still too slow. 4 hours later, Qin Zhengyun returned to the bedroom, but the room was still lit by candles. Qiu Zhai and Pan Tui sat on the bed, still cultivating. I heard Qin Zhengyun come in. Qiu Zhai opened his eyes. Qin Zhengyun walked to the bedside. "Why are you practicing so late today?" Qiu Jith looked at him, a pair of apricot eyes, cool and distant. "Opening my mouth, yet it's surprising. From today onward, let's have more time together. If the couple's love is deep, this is naturally understandable." But when Qiuji said this, yet she was as cold as ice. There is no feeling of romantic intimacy between the couple at all. It's just like a routine. And the sum. Qin Zhengyun thought for a moment. Finally, I asked the question. "I still don't understand. I have nothing. Why would you be willing to marry me?" Qiuji did not answer. Just a faint expression. "It's time to cultivate." "Jai, you?" Qin Zhengyun still wanted to ask. Qiuji made the first move. The candlelight has already gone out. 3 days later, the 700 breaths have ended. Cultivation. 4th layer of Kai refinement. 1000, 1000. Skills. 2nd rank Dan Master. 1500. Spirit root. Middle grade fire spiritual root. 450. 1000. Ice type mid-grade spiritual root. 457. 1000. Available training points. 2. Cultivation can be. Should we break through immediately? Qin Zhengyun turned his head to look. Lacan Bei. To oneself. Qiuji. He knows he hasn't fallen asleep yet. Spoke softly. "Jit, I feel like I'm about to break through. I'll go train for a while longer." Qiujit let out a sigh. Qin Zhengyun stood up. Leaving the bedroom, the door closed. Qiuji turned over. The gaze flickered. Outer room. Qin Zhengyun sat cross-legged, silently reciting in my heart. "Zhengyun." Breakthrough. The familiar pain of torn meridians struck. Qin Zhengyun was already very familiar with it, although the pain made my body tremble, sweat pouring down like rain. But my heart was very calm. Half an hour later, the surging spiritual energy within. Qin Zhengyun was not far behind. A petite figure. Stand quietly. Seeing him without worry. A slight movement of the body. Returned to the bedroom. Qin Zhengyun opened his eyes. Calm expression. Cultivation. 5th layer of Kai refinement. Lan. 2000. I have broken through to the 5th layer of Chi refinement. However, this time the improvement in cultivation was different from the previous two. Qin Zhengyan was no longer ecstatic, even forgetful to the point of losing oneself. 5th layer of Chi refinement, just let him stay in the Yunling array. Initially gained the strength to not be easily bullied by others. But the longevity technique he practiced was too low level. No experience in fighting with others. If someone of equal skill were to engage in a fight with me, I'm afraid it's still difficult to win. I've prepared 30 spirit pills. After selling at Danfu Tower, ask Tong Zhanghui if there are any combat techniques. As one's cultivation improves, no longer encountering low-level cultivators, I fear there will be more dangers. After all, any highly skilled cultivator, no one in their hands has not taken a life, though I have lived 2 lives as a human, but has never been stained with blood. I want to keep moving upward. This is the greatest inner demon and obstacle. Unknowingly, when will I encounter a gathering, a life or death battle of wits? By that time, can I be mentally strong, fearless of life and death? 7 days later again, Qin Zhengyan was carrying 30 elixirs. Once again at Danfu Tower, Tang Jinyin saw him. A slight smile. The two of them didn't say much. They walked into the inner hall in perfect harmony. Qin Zhengyan will wear the delicate silk belt containing the elixir. Hand it over to Tang Jinyin. 10 coagulation pills, 10 revitalizing pills, 10 recovery pills. Please have a look, Master Tong. Tang Jinyin took over. Take a look for a moment. Mon Pudai, lift the teacup. Qin Deyu, thank you for your hard work. Qin Zhengyan also picked up the teacup. Should be. Thank you, Manager Tong, for the opportunity. Good to say, good to say. Very soon, the guy brought 2,400 snacks. Once upon a time, there was Qin Zhengyan, a fortune I never even dreamed of. Qin Zhengyan's expression remained unchanged. Put the snacks into the zero money. Place your hands under the table. Slightly trembling. Yan Zhuan Bong Fa, finally calming my excited emotions. He asked Tang Jinyin, Tang Zhanghui, in Danfu Tower, is there the ice heart revitalization pill? Tang Jinyin is upright, bitterly shaking his head. Qin Daoliu, are you joking with me? The elixir circulating on the market. The highest rank is 3rd class. Binkson Huichundin. It is a 4th grade 0 elixir. Only the elders of the 3 great sects. Only worthy of using. What does Qin Daoliu want with such low-grade elixirs? Qin Zhengyan smiled and said, just asking. By the way, there is one more thing. Master Tong is here. Are there any martial arts techniques for sale that can be used in dueling? Tang Jinyin pondered for a moment. Finally, it's time to say it. Friend Qin, follow me. Taking Qin Zhengyan up to the 2nd floor. Entering a small room. There are several rows of shelves inside. One shelf was filled with books. Pig Magic Sword Technique, Thunder Celestial Technique, Fire Cloud Immortal Technique, Water Dragon Technique, Ice Moon Oath, Yuan Sword Technique, Jinxia Fist. All are martial arts manuals. Qin Daoliu, you know too. Such techniques are mostly auction items. If it weren't for our destined connection, I absolutely cannot sell it to you. I take this risk. Is this the price? Tang Jinyin smiled faintly. 1,011 books. After a whiff of incense, Qin Zhengyan walked out of Danfu building. In his arms, the 0 essence. There are about 3,200 snacks left. He did not buy any dual magic manuals. 1,000 snacks in a book. This price is indeed shocking, but it's not Tang Jinyin either. You want to take advantage of him. with the fourth rank Lingden. It cannot circulate outside. It's just like a manual for magical dueling, under the control of the three major sects. Only by becoming an outer sect disciple, only able to learn some basic combat techniques, buying and selling martial arts manuals, it is simply selling competing products illegally. Only Danfu Tower, this place with such immense power, only then dare to act. Even so, also need to act secretly. Therefore, a secret book, 1,000 snacks. It's not too much. It's just that Qin Zhengyan has no experience in fighting. He doesn't know which type of cultivation method suits him. So he plans to go home and discuss it with his wife first. Qiuzhi once stayed in a cultivation sect. You must be somewhat familiar with the art of combat. Ask for his opinion. Then decide which type of manual to buy. Nature is more secure. Just, if I bought the secret manual, still need to buy spirit essence for cultivation. There are less than 1,000 snacks left. The plan to buy a house and a flying sword. It will be postponed. Qin Zhengyan was thinking. He walked into a narrow alley. This is a shortcut to Zheyu Lane. Now it's a blur between reality and illusion. The sky has turned completely dark. I still need to go home early. Should I? A strange black light illuminated the surroundings. Surround him within. Barrier. Qin Zhengyan's expression changed. This should be a barrier formed by a type of confinement array. It can trap people inside, unless the one who set the formation is killed. Or perhaps your cultivation far exceeds that of the array maker. Otherwise, it would be impossible to get out. Just, this formation consumes a lot of spiritual essence. The cost is not small. Who is willing to pay such a price? You want to trap me too. Qin Zhengyan was encountering this situation for the first time, feeling a bit nervous, but on the surface still calm. Said loudly, "Which fellow traveler? Is there a misunderstanding? Could you show yourself for a conversation?" He didn't release his spiritual energy immediately. Show the cultivation of the 5th level of Kai refinement. The current situation is unclear. Let's observe the situation before making a decision. Fingers trembled slightly, suppressing the tension of instinct. Try to keep this thinking clear. After waiting for a moment, a deep shadow slowly emerged from the darkness. Qin Zheng's pupils contracted slightly. Jukan let out a cold snort. Just at the 4th level of Kai refinement. I can't believe you didn't call me senior. Such rudeness. Indeed, it's damned. Qin Zhengyan's mind was filled with thoughts. The words of Qiuzhi he floated in my mind. If you engage in a battle of wits with someone, no dignity, no morality, to death, you are alive. That is the only truth. Cold words seemed to echo in my ears, yet made Qin Zhengyan's heart beat violently, gradually calming down. The next moment, he wore a look of panic on his face. The voice pretended to tremble. Ju Senior, you and I have no grudges or enmity. What do you mean by that? While speaking, quietly extending my consciousness. He is now at the 5th level of Kai refinement. The length of the divine sense has increased to 4 zhang. Qin Zhengyan had seen it in Town's magical arts. This low-level confinement array won't have a large range, no more than 4 to 5 zhang. Jukan comes with ill intentions. I don't know if he has any backup plan left. Know yourself and know your enemy. Fang had the chance to escape danger. No grudges, no enmity. Jukan suddenly burst into wild laughter. You stole my woman. Let me in the night market. Loose face. Any one of them is enough to kill you in practice. How dare you claim that you have no grievances with me? Qin Zhengyan controls his consciousness, silently bypassing Ju Kun. The other party indeed did not notice. He controlled the consciousness network to explore the surroundings, while continuing to pretend to be anxious. Ju Senior, misunderstanding. That day I happened to deliver goods to Mo Dao, and I haven't heard that Mo Dao has formed a partnership with anyone. He should have nothing to do with you, right? Ju Kun's laughter stopped. The expression was extremely cold and sharp. You really think I don't know? I have interrogated Huang Zhu. He has already explained everything. You have been having an affair with Mo Ziolan for a long time. He is afraid I will vent my anger on you. Already left Yuling Town. Speak. Where did Mo Ziolan go? I can make your death a little easier. What? Qin Zhengyan is the protagonist. Mo Ziolan is not going to Jinyang City for business. Will you be back in half a year? A thought flickered. Suddenly understood. Ju Kun is indeed speaking the truth. Mo Ziolan feared being implicated. Bayan quietly left Yuling Town to avoid worrying her. She also had Huang Zhu and landlord Lin help her keep it a secret from herself. However, Mo Ziolan has lived in Yunling Town for so long. All connections are rooted here. Now suddenly leaving. Where can she go? In a strange land. Starting everything over from scratch. Once again, how difficult it is. Mo Ziolan, why are you so foolish? In an instant, Qin Jingyan felt a mix of emotions in his heart. Surprise, heartache, frustration, but at this moment facing the crisis. But cannot be distracted. Continue to pretend to be afraid. Ju Senior, don't listen to the nonsense of others. I really don't know. Do not ask where Mo Dao has gone. While speaking, shaking on one side, take out that talisman. Ju Senior, enemies are to be resolved, not to be reconciled. Why suffer over something trivial? It's difficult for me, a third-level refined disciple. Ju Kun saw her take out a talisman, not the slightest bit afraid, burst into laughter again. Qin Zhengyan, you have quite the cunning mind. At this point, still want to hide my cultivation. Unfortunately, someone has already told me your background. You have entered the 4th level of weapon forging. Right. Qin Zhengyan's face was pale. The body trembled even more violently. Who told you? You. Don't come over here. He held a talisman, a look of having endured the trials of life and death. The divine stone has reached the edge of the barrier, about 2 zhang behind Ju Kun. A short and stout figure stood. There is actually another person. The divine stone is nearing its limit. Qin Zhengyan was acting, struggling to control the divine stone and move forward. Ju Kun admired the fear on Qin Zhengyan's face. He laughed and said, I'm not afraid to tell you. This time I went to Beihuang, obtained a pure spirit talisman. Not only can it generate barriers, still within the barrier, only attack type talismans below the 3rd rank will be rendered ineffective. Qin Zhengyan's expression changed. This time, 5 minutes are indeed real. He has heard of the purity spirit talisman. Attempt to activate a talisman. Indeed, there was no response. Ju Kun's voice rang out again, full of mockery and joy. You can rest assured. I won't let you die that quickly. I will ruin your cultivation, break your limbs. Someone will come to torment you slowly. Ju Senior, your skills are profound. Why make things difficult for a small hermit like me? Qin Zhengyan begged for mercy in fear. But my mind became increasingly clear. Once I had a drink with Mo Ziolan. I have heard her say before, the pure spirit talismans are different from ordinary talismans. To maintain the barrier, Someone must continuously inject spiritual energy into the talisman. No wonder Jukan brought someone along. It seems to be someone maintaining the barrier using spiritual power. The spirit sense slowly extended forward. Sure enough, I saw the person hiding at the edge of the barrier. A powerful python is emerging from my hand. Spiritual energy continuously flows into a talisman paper affixed to the wall. The person's face gradually became clearer. Yang Fenshin, Aldao. Ju Kun's laughter was sharp, filled with the thrill and cruelty of playing with prey. Temperamental. Do you know why you will die? It's not because of Mozialan, but because you have no awe for the strong. This is the path to death. Finished speaking. Ju Kun exuded the pressure of a fifth-layer Kai refinement. Taisheng knocked it down towards Qin Jinyan. Qin Jinyan was knocked away with a single palm, fell heavily to the ground. With a wow, after a moment, he finally spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. He suddenly became even more anxious. It won't be noticed, right? He took a palm strike from Zhu Kan. There's a feeling of heaviness in my chest, but there were no injuries. However, in Zhu Kan's eyes, he only has a cultivation level of Kai refinement stage 4. Nature cannot remain unscathed. But after all, it was his first time acting. No experience of coughing up blood. Just now, I activated my spiritual energy. I want to force out a mouthful of blood. It's just the first time. In the end, it didn't come out. Fortunately, at this moment, Ju Kun was full of vigor and confidence. Didn't notice this detail. Seeing Qin Jinyan spitting blood from being struck by his palm, suddenly burst into laughter. Qin Jinyan, isn't it very frustrating? You can rest assured. Waiting for you to die. I will bring Mo Xiaolan back. Not only must she cultivate with her dual practice, still want to treat her like a stovetop, squeeze out the last trace of spirit. I will also tell her, when you die, how I was tormented. Let her be happy for you. As they spoke, slowly walking towards Qin Jinyan. Don't come over here. No, no. Qin Jinyan shouted in terror. HMPH. Keep calling. No one can hear it. Ju Kun became increasingly joyful. Repeatedly sought after Mo Xiaolan, but to no avail. Qin Jinyan publicly embarrassed me. Set back in the northern wilderness. The resentment that returns to the machine. At this moment, I am finally free. Qin Jinyan, you deserve it. Because of you, I was kicked out of the Lingdon workshop. Also had the engagement broken off. Even the bride price can't be reclaimed. I have nothing left. It's all your fault when your cultivation is wasted. I will torture you to death. Yang Fengchen hiding at the edge of the barrier, looking at Qin Jinyan. The appearance of that disheveled fear. A smile of contention appeared on her face. The triangular eyes were filled with resentment. Ju Kun walked step by step toward Qin Jinyan, appreciating the despair on his face. Chu Dai, Qin Jinyan underfoot. A flying sword that transforms with spiritual energy is born. Carrying him, he transformed into a streak of light, swooping past Ju Kun, rushing towards the corner where Yang Fengchen was hiding. Ju Kun could only turn back, then saw Yang Fengchen had already been struck on the chest by Qin Jinyan's palm. Blood gushed out wildly. The pure spirit talisman stuck to the wall, without spiritual power infusion, suddenly malfunctioned. The black barrier vanished. You. Ju Kun was about to speak. Then they saw Qin Jinyan. The sword talisman has already been raised. Boom! A fierce sword energy of unparalleled spiritual power, charging towards Ju Kun with a slash. Ju Kun, the great Khan, crazy operation of spiritual power, hands protectively held in front of the chest. Boom! A loud bang. Smoke and dust filled the sky. After a moment, Ju-kun still stood in place. The next moment, blood burst out from his whole body, like a human-shaped fountain. He looked towards Qin Zhengyun, eyes filled with fierce intensity. "You—" Just like before, as soon as they spoke, Qin Zhengyun has already lunged at him. At the same time, Qin Zhengyun's spiritual power rapidly increased. Level 5 of Kai refinement, Ju-kun was astonished, reaching into the bosom. "What do you want to take out?" But he was already hit in the chest by Qin Zhengyun's punch. Creak! The sound of bones breaking echoed. Eyes filled with bloodshot veins. Qin Zhengyun threw another punch, hit on Ju-kun's temple. He was knocked into the air. With a loud thud it fell to the ground. Before he could catch his breath, Qin Zhengyun was already riding on Ju-kun's back. "Guanru, rain is falling." Pew, 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 pew. Finally, Ju-kun remained motionless. Blood pooled beneath. Qin Zhengyun finally stopped, panting heavily. The chest heaved violently. "My whole body is shaking. This time I'm really trembling," he once imagined. Many scenes of my first time battling wits on April Fool's Day. Unintentionally, it's not just a white robe fluttering. Overflowing with spiritual power, Sword Kai reigns supreme. But at this moment, he was like a street thug, just swinging fists and smashing randomly. Lack of method. Covered in blood. Not cool at all. Qin Zhengyun got off Ju-kun, sat down heavily on the ground. He wasn't seriously hurt, but I felt a surge of strength throughout my body. It was as if everything had been drained away. That was really close. He pretends to be only at the 4th level of Kai refinement. Let Ju-kun be complacent. Once again, I used my spiritual sense to locate Yang Fengshen's position, reusing the flying shield to support the chest piece. Attack on Yang Fengshen, injured Ju-kun. The entire process is primarily about a half-pig eating a tiger. Unpredictable. The key lies in Ju-kun did not know. I have already reached the 5th level of Kai refinement. I don't know either. He also has a non-attack flying shield. Plus, there is a hidden divine consciousness. Investigating the hidden Yang Fengshen in the corner. Only with talent can one achieve extraordinary victories. Otherwise, even if he is equally skilled as Ju-kun, but the experience in battle magic is far inferior to the opponent's, the outcome will definitely be tragic. Qin Zhengyun sat for quite a while. Breathing gradually becomes calm. Walked to the wall covered with talismans. Tear down that purity talisman. A bright light flashed across the talisman paper. The 2-character word in the middle changed to a single character. The meaning is, this purification talisman can still be used once. There is no time to study it carefully right now. Qin Zhengyun glanced at the one lying on the ground. Ju-kun and Yang Fengshen, now silent. He got up and lifted the bodies of the 2 people, leaving Yulin town. Fortunately, it is already late at night. Qin Zhengyun chose the secluded paths again. The vision has gone unseen by anyone. Arrived at Yulin Mountain outside the town. Up to the mountainside, Qin Zhengyun threw the bodies of the 2 into the dense forest. On Yulin Mountain, there are many spiritual beasts. Before long, these 2 bodies will be completely devoured. Qin Zhengyun stumbled down the mountain, returned to Yulin town. My mind is filled with the memory of just punching Ju-kun, a scene of blood splattering. Though I have lived 2 lives, but the most intense conflict he had with others. It's just fighting. Never killed anyone. Personally took down a 5th level Kai refinement cultivator. A A single punch turned it into a pile of fresh red meat. This process was significant for him. It's still too exciting. Is this the taste of killing? Hurriedly returned to Jehu Alley, arriving in front of their own door. Hand reaches into the bosom. But the medicine just couldn't escape. My hands are shaking too much. I know. The door opens. A round, greenish face appeared. Kinjenian was covered in blood. The cold expression on her face changed. The voice suddenly became urgent. "What's wrong with you?" Kinjenian walked into the room. Leaning against the wall, gasping, he said, "Jahi, I I have killed someone." Half an instant later, in the bedroom, I found the bodies of Zhu Kun and Yang Fengshen. Threw it to Yunlin Mountain. Just came back. Qin Zhengyan's hands finally stopped shaking, because in his hand, holding a bowl of steaming hot meat soup, a mouthful of soup down the throat, a surge of warmth erupted from the cold heart. Soon the whole person calmed down. I only just found out. Why are the spell-fighting manuals so expensive? If I knew how to fight today, perhaps there's no need to show weakness. Can also defeat Zhukan. The river of autumn sits quietly. A pair of eyes stared straight at him. Qin Zhengyan did not understand. Jai, what's wrong? Autumn river path. When I was a child, my senior sister told me a story. A hunter killed a fierce tiger. He thought the tiger was dead. Didn't add a few more cuts. Just getting ready to carry the tiger back to the village. But the tiger pretended to be dead, bit him on the neck. Instead, it ended up eating him. Qin Zhengyan is upright. Carefully recall. The expression changed slightly. Suddenly jumped up. Jai, I'm going out for a bit. Hurry back. Kiaji River nodded gently. Qin Zhengyan has already left the house. In the bedroom, Qiu Zhai, he sat at the head of the bed, muttering to oneself, "It's time to teach him how to fight." Yulin Mountain. The night falls like iron. Heavy snow is falling. Snow falls in the woods, on the bodies of the two corpses, gradually turning into two small snow mounds. Puzu. Snow falls from a branch. Almost hit one. Zuliangling approached the corpse. This snow fox. I have been hiding here for a long time, staring at the two corpses. Only now do we begin to take action. Zhu Lingling walked into one of the corpses. Open the blood-red mouth. Offer your sharp teeth. Bit down hard. Touch. Zhu Lingling was knocked away. When it hits the ground, already a bloody mess. Gone without a trace. The corpse sat up. Spit out another mouthful of fresh blood. Quickly took out 2 pills from his bosom, feeding it into my mouth, while hoarsely pouring out, "Qin Zhengyan, I will kill you." Zhu Kun struggled to get up. He is seriously injured at this moment. It would be troublesome if we encounter a second-grade spirit beast. At this moment, the short, chubby corpse next to me also came to life. Yang Fengshen got up, weakly fell down. Zhu Senior, you can't just ignore me. Zhu Kun let out a cold snort, just about to speak. Shu Dai's expression changed suddenly. Suddenly, a figure appeared across from me. Half of the body is covered in blood. Pale complexion. In his eyes burned a murderous intent. Zhu Kun, Yang Fengshen, you indeed didn't die. Senior Kin, it's all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. I was forced by Zhu Kun. Yang Fengshen immediately knelt down, kneeling and begging for mercy skillfully. Zhu Kun also waved his hand repeatedly. Qin Daoyu, you have reached the 5th level of artifact refining. When there is ambition, I did not go all out against you. You have vented your anger. What if we just call it even? while saying this, as one reaches into their bosom. He still has his magical tools and talisman paper unutilized. If it weren't for being deceived by Qin Zhengyun, thought he was only at the 4th level of weapon forging. How could it come to being forced to such an extent? Just give him a chance. Let him use the magical tools and talismans. Ding-dang. The next moment, Qin Zhengyun's figure flickered. It has already reached Zhu Kun's eyes. Zhu Kun's eyes were filled with desire. Shu Zai feels the sound. Clip. Qin Zhengyun punched Zhu Kun in the chest. It is completely transparent. The fist shot straight out from the back. Poop. Zhu Kun opened his mouth, but only a torrent of blood surged forth. Hoarse voice struggled to speak the last sentence. You used the red poison dart. Qin Zhengyun withdrew his hand from Zhu Kun's chest. As the corpse fell down, he landed 2 more heavy punches. Confirmed dead. Only then did he get up and look towards Yang Fengshen. He took precautions on his way here. Indeed, I ate 2 red poisonous mushrooms. The effectiveness of this bullet. It is to quickly enhance physical strength and power. By the late stage of Kai training, this type of ammunition is no longer useful. But for Qin Zhengyun, who currently knows no combat techniques, for now I can only rely on my fists. Fortunately, Zhu Kun was already seriously injured. That piercing strike. He has been completely eliminated. Just a little more. It is a reminder of one's earlier carelessness. When we encounter our enemies again, make sure to finish off the opponent. Senior Qin. Senior, don't kill me. I am willing to serve you like a horse or an ox. Don't kill. Boop. Another punch. Yang Fengshen's body lay on the ground. Fresh blood quickly stained the white snow. Qin Zhengyun breathed lightly. His expression remained relatively calm. After all, it's the 2nd time I've killed. No longer in such a panic. Calm down for a moment. He felt a pain in Zhu Kun's body. Search. A short sword was found. The sword blade is a light blue color, emitting waves of authority. It seems to be a low-level magical artifact. There are still more than 10 talismans and elixirs. They are all used for combat. Zhu Kun would not be so careless. Using these things from the very beginning, Qin Zhengyun had no hope of winning at all. It's just Zhu Kun. As a practitioner at the 5th level of artifact refinement, yet so reckless and arrogant, even if it doesn't end by my own hand. I'm afraid I won't even live to establish my foundation. Take it as a warning for yourself. In the future, no matter what level of cultivation I reach, everyone must be cautious and low-key. Do not be overly self-righteous. If it comes to a battle of wits with someone, you should also keep a backup plan. The enemy is already weak. Once you strike, necessary to crush bones and scatter ashes. Do not repeat today's mistakes. But how should we handle these 2 corpses right now? Still throw it here, waiting for the wild spirit beasts to come and gnaw at the corpses? Qin Zhengyun was just thinking. Behind Huju there is a cave. He can afford to turn back. Standing in front of oneself, a head of red hair, a red dress, standing gracefully amidst the falling white snow, red and white, a murderous intent fills the air, yet there is an ethereal aura. Qin Zhengyun took a step back. Be vigilant in your heart. Bon Shudao, this fellow cultivator, may I ask for your guidance? This red-haired female cultivator is a bit strange. Wearing a veil. I can't see her face clearly. Not sure if they are friends or foes. Could it be that Zhu Kun brought in help? The red-haired sorceress spoke. The voice is ethereal. I have some old grudges with Zhu Kun. I don't want to be killed by you anymore." Qin Zhengyan still did not let his guard down. "Since Jukan has been killed by me, what will you do? Red-haired nun, you have killed me, enemy. Then consider me half a benefactor. I see you don't seem to know how to fight with magic. I can teach you." King Zhengyan cupped his hands. "Thank you, fellow cultivator. I have no intention of fighting with anyone. I can only let down your kindness." She certainly wanted to learn how to fight with magic. But this suddenly appearing red-haired female cultivator, the air was filled with an eerie vibe, completely unaware of whether they are friend or foe. How is it possible with just a few words? I will take her as my teacher. Moreover, it's hard to discern her cultivation level. Jai and Zhukan are enemies. It seems that her cultivation is not much different from mine. How can this be her master? The red-haired female cultivator looked her up and down, suddenly raised his hand. A surge of crimson flames. "Chu Dai Shi Chu." Qin Zhengyan was stunned, quickly dodged away, looking up. That tall figure has already vanished. One's own back has already been pressed by a soft palm. The ethereal voice echoed in my ears. "If you really take action, you are already dead." Qin Zhengyan felt a chill all over his body. A deep sense of powerlessness surged within. This woman, so powerful, this is the power from the soul. It is the instinct of the subservient. Qin Zhengyan said, with a voice full of helplessness towards those in power, "Why don't you kill me, fellow deist? Didn't I say so? Help me kill the enemy. As a return, I will teach you how to duel." The red-haired priestess said softly, "Fellow cultivator, with your cultivation level, Jukung is not your opponent at all. I will kill him. We don't have any debts of gratitude between us, do we?" Qin Zhengyan was still very wary of this red-haired female cultivator. "Why are you such a troublemaker?" The red-haired mage suddenly became impatient, in a voice as ethereal as an immortal's. It carried a hint of strangeness. "Qin Zhengyan is a righteous man." He turned to look at her. "Why does this feeling seem a bit familiar?" The red-haired sorceress quickly returned to her cold demeanor. "Pour calmly. It is a sound passed on to you." Qin Zhengyan was furious. "Senior, it's the first time I've heard someone say that. I have talent. This excuse is really bad. You were lucky to win against Zhukan today. If we encounter a stronger opponent next time, not only your life, I will also humiliate the ones you care about. Will you regret it then? Missed today's opportunity." Words of the red-haired priestess. Let Qin Zhengyan take the lead. The cold beauty of the autumn river emerges in my mind. A charming little round face. Mo Zai Alan also protected herself. 70,000 shadows forced to leave their homeland. If you want to learn, at this time tomorrow, at 3:15, come find me. Petals fall under the shade of flowers. Two flames surged forth. The bodies of Ju Kun and Yang Fengshen quickly turned to ashes. Qin Zhengyan turned around. That tall figure already vanished without a trace. Qin Zhengyan returned to Jeyu Alley. Through stillness, one recognizes the chant. His emotions were still somewhat turbulent. Flashes occasionally through my mind. The scene of killing Zhukan and Yang Fengshen. Entered the house in a daze. Only Autumn River was sitting at the table. A candle is lit on the table. The flickering candlelight imprint shining on that clear yet lovely round face. Let Qin Zhengyan feel somewhat at ease. Jai, he has a lot to say to Qiu Jai. First, go take a shower. Autumn River rises. Entering the bedroom. I will wait for you. Qin Zhengyan Yishen. Looking down. Only then did I realize I was covered in blood. although not a drop of blood is my own. But at this moment the pungent and rich smell of blood fills the air. Suddenly I felt a bit nauseous. He hurried into the bathroom. I saw in the bathing tub dedicated to the river of autumn, it is already filled with water, steaming hot. It warms the heart just to look at it. Qin Zhenyan's face revealed a faint smile, took off the blood-stained clothes, sat down in the bathtub, soaking in slightly warm water. A sense of exhaustion suddenly lifted significantly. Close your eyes. The back of my head rests against the edge of the bathtub. The memories replay involuntarily in my mind again. The scene of the recent battle. Fist penetrating flesh. Feeling the other person's chest cavity. The still writhing warmth of indulgence. Then blood splattered, sprayed onto his face. Draw back your fist. The body falls to the ground. Turn into a pile of dead flesh. For safety. A few more punches landed. My head has changed shape. Time of slaughter. Emotions surge with passion. At this moment, quiet down and reflect. I feel a strange sense of unfamiliarity towards myself. Hair raising. Footsteps sound. Qin Zhenyan opened his eyes. Qiuzhi walked in carrying a bundle of clothes. Hang it on the side of the bathtub. Your clothes. Then he walked out with a blank expression. Then a phrase floated in. Wash faster. Oh, okay. Qin Zhenyan instinctively responded, still a bit dazed. It seems like this is the first time under the light of candles. Qiuzhi saw himself without any clothes. The relationship between the two is very strange. Emotions and the body. It's like two parallel lines. The couple's relationship is still distant. The body had long crossed the limits. If one day, emotions and body in sync, spiritual and physical fusion, that is what truly constitutes a married couple, right? With Qiuzhi's interruption, Qin Zhenyan discovered that in his mind, no longer filled with that bloody and chaotic scene, the emotions have calmed down a bit. He quickly finished his shower. Put on your clothes. Entering the bedroom, he sat on the bed wrapped in a blanket. A candle is lit on the table. In the flickering candlelight, Qin Zhenyan saw a small patch of fair skin exposed under the blanket. Lazy sensuality. Did Qiuzhi forget to wear clothes? On weekdays, when the two of them sit together, Qiuzhi was wearing a jacket. Tonight this is. Come here. Qiuzhi's voice became clearer. Qin Zhenyan walked to the bedside. But I saw a slender, smooth arm, stretched out from under the blanket. The candlelight has extinguished. Qin Zhenyan has already been pushed down onto the bed. He opened his eyes wide, but saw Qiuzhi's body, wearing a tight-fitting robe. Skin as white as jade was exposed. Qin Zhenyan raised his hand. I want to hold his delicate, fragrant shoulders. But he was pressed down by Qiuzhi. Don't move. Don't speak. Don't think about anything. Qiuzhi rolled over, pulled the quilt, covered that area. The tender Qin Zhenyan gasped slightly. Yet my emotions inexplicably calmed down completely. The voice of Qiuzhi came to my ears. My heart feels more at peace now. Qin Zhenyan said gratefully. Much better. Thank you. I hate. He understands. As soon as I entered, I told myself to take a shower, send clothes to myself. Once again, dressed only in his simple garments, he sat in his cell. Qiuzhi did all of this. It's all to help calm his emotions. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Qiuzhi let out a faint sound. So I didn't say much more. Qin Zhenyan shifted his body over. Right next to him, whispered in his ear, Jai, you, have you ever killed someone? Qiuzhi, he sneered. Natural killers. Kinjenya nodded slightly. Ask again. Dai, can you teach me how to duel? He knows. My wife comes from an extraordinary background. Rather than letting that inexplicable red-haired girl take a break for yourself, why not let Kyuji teach? This way, there's no need to pay homage to Kyuji as a master. Kyuji was silent for a moment. Da, I can't teach you. You can find someone else. Kinjenya knew his temper. Since you said that, then it would be absolutely impossible to teach him. Feeling a bit disappointed right now. The matter of the red-haired woman told Kyuji, asking the way, Chai, what do you think? The words of that red-haired senior. Can you believe it? Should I go tomorrow? Kyuji answered very quickly this time. That senior's strength far exceeds yours. But I didn't kill you. Nature will not harm you. You can give it a try. Good. Then I will go to apprentice tomorrow. Even my wife says the same. Kinjenya no longer hesitated. Apprenticeship. Kyuji turned around. Kyuji. A pair of eyes stared at him intently. That's right. The senior has no ties to me. Yet I want others to teach me how to remember. One must pay respects to their master in nature. Kinjenya said seriously. Not possible. Kyuji immediately opposed. Kinjenya said it's right. Baffled by the situation. Like, anyway, it just won't work. In Kyuji's voice, a hint of embarrassment appeared. How can we be both master and disciple? Another couple. This is too ridiculous. Dai, are you afraid I'll become your disciple? You will also have to lower your status in the future. Kinjenya asked. What does it mean to lower one's status? That was a disruption of the hierarchy. Kyuji couldn't help it. Gave him a glance. A bit annoyed. It's up to you. Anyway, tomorrow. I will never agree to this. You are apprenticed. Dai, there is one more thing. I want to discuss something with you. Kinjenya lowered his head, getting closer and closer. Scorching breath. Kyuji's bangs floated on his forehead. Kyuji turned over, back to Kinjenya. Heaving chest. This is when calm was restored. He asked softly, What is it? Kinjenya said seriously, Do not think that deist Mo does not want to involve me. Forced to leave one's homeland. I feel very guilty inside. I want to find him. Tell him. Ju-kun will no longer harass him. Tai, I am searching for Mo Dayu. It is out of friendship. It's also for my own peace of mind. Kyuji said coldly, Your friend. Why do you need to ask me? Dai, Kinjenya was about to explain. Kyuji's voice echoed once more. Lin Sun Town. Items related to the person you wish to find. Put it in the town. Injecting spiritual energy. You can find out where this person is located. This town. I will. Kinjenya felt a surge of joy. Hastily said, Thank you. Even if I draw this town. Want to start. Also requires foundational cultivation. Kyuji's words. Let Kinjenya take the lead. I want to find Mosai Alan. Just keep practicing. Build your foundation early. Slept. Kyuji finished speaking. No longer speaking. Kinjenya opened his eyes. Muttering to oneself. Foundation building. Cultivation. Fifth layer of chi-refinement. I'm sorry, but it seems I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Spells. Second rank alchemist. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Spirit roots. Fire elemental middle grade spiritual root. I love you. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Ice element mid-grade spiritual root. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Available cultivation points. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Kim Jeng-yeon looked at the illusory characters before him. Without hesitation, gather all the cultivation points. And on cultivation level, today I was outsmarted by Zhu Kan. Let him truly experience it. The cruelty of the cultivation world. If he doesn't reach it, fifth layer of Kai refinement, no matter how you use skills, in the end he will definitely be the one to die. All tricks and cunning. Everything must be built on the foundation of strength. Add more. We need to activate the spirit-seeking array. Go find Mosai Alan. Must reach the foundation establishment as soon as possible. However, I want to establish my foundation as soon as possible. The spirit is indeed indispensable. Now there are over 3,000 spiritual stones. But upon closer calculation, even if everything is used to bind Ling Sui, it's only about 300 yuan, just a mere increase of 1,200 points in cultivation. From the 5th level of Kai refinement, reached the 6th level of Kai refinement. Just need 2,000 points. Let alone reaching the 7th level of Kai refinement until the foundation is established. Points of cultivation that need improvement. It will only increase more and more. This little spirit stone. It's too far off. So, to earn spirit stones more quickly, while improving one's cultivation, also I need to focus on improving my alchemist level. Qin Zhengyan pondered for a moment. Set short-term goals. To be upgraded to the 6th level of Kai refinement. Add the cultivation points to the Dan Master. Quickly elevate to Master Dan level 3. 1/3 grade spiritual pill. At least able to sell over 100 spirit stones. The speed of making money this way. It's much faster now. Then focus on improving your cultivation. In this way, it is achieving twice the result with half the effort. Of course, earn spirit stones. Still on Kaifeng Street. Buy a big house. Let my wife follow me. Living a good life. If it weren't for the gentle comfort of the river today, maybe my feelings right now. It's hard to calm down. There is even a danger of becoming obsessed. Such is the expectation. What more could one ask for in happiness? From now on, I will strive to cultivate myself, enhancing the pill Tao, in addition to clearing the internal poison. Seeking the Tao for longevity, it's also to gain the ability, make the wife life better. After I established my foundation, earned more spirit stones, he took the river and went to settle in Yanyang City. Big city. Ultimately, the environment should be better. Qin Zhengyan returned in a sorry state from Jinyang City. I also hope that one day can return triumphantly. By the way, there is one more equally important thing. Learning how to fight with magic. If you ever go to Jinyang City, perhaps there will be more disputes. Must possess sufficient strength. Only by being capable can one protect oneself. Protect the lady. Qin Zhengyan slightly tilted his body. Only Autumn held the blanket close. Slight undulations. Breathe evenly. Should be asleep now. Qin Zhengyan smiled. Close your eyes as well. Anren fell asleep peacefully. One day, Qin Zhengyan walked out of the bedroom. Liu Su sipped his drink apologetically, walked out of the kitchen, put the breakfast on the table, still mumbling. Eat less than a pig, working harder than an ox, slept later than a dog, get up earlier than the rooster. Sigh. Qin Zhengyan smiled at Su Su. Why are you scolding yourself so early in the morning? Liu Su glared at him. You're still that heartless boss. At Liu Su suddenly leaned in, looking up and down at Qin Zhengyan, touching his chin. Son-in-law, why do you seem a bit different? Qin Zhengyan said, "One is right." "Where is it different?" Liu Su sniffed, with a clap of the hands. "The smell of blood. Son-in-law, what did you do last night?" "Eating." "The sound of the autumn river begins," interrupted Liu Su's words. Liu Su sticks out her tongue. He sat down and started slurping the noodle soup. Qin Zhengyan was astonished. Is Liu Su's intuition that sharp? He wasn't speaking either, focused on eating. The three quickly finished their meal. Qin Zhengyan went to the alchemy room first. Liu Su pulled Qiu Jie into the kitchen, asked softly, "Miss, what happened last night?" "The autumn river flows calmly. He killed a level 5 refining practitioner last night." Hearing is just the 5th level of refining. Liu Su felt nothing. However, they are excited about other things. Yes, since his hands are already stained with blood, then we are just fellow travelers. Let's just frame him within the Kinglian gate. Let him seek revenge with us. This young lady, you don't have to part ways with him anymore. Oh no. Liu Su's words just fell. Then Autumn River gave him a sharp slap on the head. She looked at him coldly. "Such words. Don't ever bring it up again." Liu Su cradled her head. She nodded pitifully. "Yes." At this moment, the night outside is quiet and deep. Liu Su, who was exploited all day, has fallen asleep next door. "Jai." Then I went. "Sure. Be careful. Don't worry. I brought the talismans and charms I obtained from Zhu Kun." Qin Zhengyan bids farewell to the River of Autumn, exited the room, straight to Yunlin town. Last night that red-haired senior said, "If you want to learn the art of combat magic, at 3/4 past midnight today, go to Yunlin Mountain to find him." However, Qin Zhengyan did not let his guard down completely. Take the talismans and ritual tools found on Zhu Kun's body yesterday. He showed the short sword to Qiu Zhai He. It is an ordinary piece of ceremonial equipment. Jiao Wai Fengrui can be used in conjunction with basic sword techniques. Soon arrived at the mountainside of Yunlin Mountain, in the woods where Zhu Kun and Yang Fengshen were killed yesterday. It didn't snow tonight. The sky is clear. Snow accumulated underfoot, making a creaking sound. Qin Zhengyan clasped his hands and said, "Senior, I have arrived." There is no sound around. Qin Zhengyan raised his voice. "Once again, we infiltrate the tunnel. Senior, are you there?" Shu Dai. A chill surged from behind. Qin Zhengyan looked back. Only the tall, voluptuous red figure could be seen, standing right in front of me. Mask of red veil, revealing a pair of cold, enchanting peach blossom eyes. Majestic mountains and rivers. The slender waist. Long legs. I must say, this senior's figure is truly impressive. Qin Zhengyan quickly lowered his head. I dare not gaze directly at that tempting curve. "Senior." Red-haired female cultivator. The voice was ethereal and cold. "I've made up my mind." Qin Zhengyan asked, "Senior, may I ask you, why teach me how to fight magic?" Red-haired nun. "We talked about it yesterday. If you have doubts in your heart, you can go back now." Qin Zhengyan quickly said, "Senior, I am willing to learn." He solemnly bowed. "Senior, I am willing to take you as my master, if one achieves success in learning. One day I will repay my teacher's kindness." Qin Zhengyan. "Actually, I played a little trick. This red-haired female cultivator has a strange temper. Teach him how to fight." Perhaps it was just a fleeting whim. If someone is halfway through teaching, just ran away, isn't that giving up halfway? If I were to take him as my teacher, the bond between master and disciple Nature is more reliable than a chance encounter. The other party will surely share everything they have. Of course, a scheme is a scheme, but he will repay his teacher's kindness one day. That is indeed true. As long as this red-haired woman cultivates her heart sincerely for him, treat him as a disciple. The relationship has calmed down. Maybe I can introduce him to Jai He. Qin Zhengyan's mind flashed through several thoughts, but the red-haired female cultivator stepped aside, did not receive this bow from him. I am not fond of worldly titles. There's no need to formally become a disciple. You and I are husband and wife. How can we still be master and apprentice? I am here to receive your memories. Returned to Jeyu Alley to cultivate with you again. What has this become? Zaya Kinglian felt more and more embarrassed and angry as she thought about it. Without any hesitation, they firmly refused. Yet Qin Zheng said earnestly, "Senior, if you are unwilling to take me as your disciple, I also can't shamelessly learn your memory. I just wanted to take you as my mentor. Then you don't need to worry about me, senior. I just wanted to take you as my mentor. After learning, forget the gratitude to the teacher. You worked hard to teach me." Zaya Kinglian snorted coldly. "I am willing to teach if you want to learn. No need for you to repay." Qin Zhenyan immediately said, "The senior has a broad mind, carefree and at ease, but I cannot be ungrateful. Such thoughts are unclear. It is difficult to master the unparalleled skills of my predecessors." Zaya Kinglian was stunned. "You aren't this good at talking at home, are you?" He has always been more about taking action than talking. I momentarily didn't know how to refute Qin Zhenyan. "Senior colleague, if you still need to consider, perhaps I will come again another day." Qin Zhenyan clasped his hands again, ready to leave again. "Wait a moment." Zaya Kinglian called out to him. A pair of bright eyes stared at him fiercely. Gritting his teeth, he said, "If you want to worship a master, then go ahead. Stop babbling." Qin Zhengyan was overjoyed. Immediately attack with a grand gesture. "Master is here. Please allow me to bow to you, my master." Zaya Kinglian's forehead was covered in white. Qingjin City began to rise, buzzed with a huff. "Zaya Kinglian, oh Zaya Kinglian, why are you so confused?" He actually taught him how to duel personally. It's all good now. He really became his master. Returned home. How to face this guy again? I haven't yet asked Master Minghui. Qin Zhengyan performed the apprenticeship ceremony. He respectfully asked again. Zaya Kinglian was so angry that she spoke out. "Dai Zai, Dai Zai." Qin Zhengyan said straightforwardly, "This is the enlightenment of the master." Zaya Kinglian rarely rolled her eyes. The majestic mountains and rivers are gently undulating. Paused for a moment. Wait for your breath to be steady. Finally spoke. "I am Ming Nian Tang." Qin Zhengyan clasped his hands. "Disciple, always remember the wisdom of the master." "Master, let's begin now." Zaya Kinglian shot him an annoyed glance. Coldly stated, "What's the rush? The techniques I have learned are not suitable for you. You must first learn a martial art. I can teach you how to apply it in practice." Qin Zhenyan Yi Zhen. That being said, the disciple still needs to buy a dual technique manual. Zaya Kinglian saw his expression of agony. The corners of the mouth beneath the veil couldn't help but curl up. "Who made you angry with me? Heartache won't let you die," he said with a stern expression. "What kind of dual magic manuals can you buy? Speak and let me listen." A few days ago, Qin Zhengyan had already told me the martial arts manuals he saw in Danfu Tower. However, now Zaya Kinglian naturally has to put on an act. To avoid raising Qin Zhengyan's suspicions, "Master, The disciple saw several secret books at Danfu Tower the other day. The sword technique of many demons, thunder celestial technique, fire cloud immortal technique, water dragon technique, Bingyu Ju, He Huan sword technique, Jinxia fist. Qin Zhengyan talked about a lot of secret techniques and methods. He glanced through a few pages of these techniques at Danfu building at day. Impressive and memorable. There is, actually, that thunder immortal technique, fire cloud immortal technique, Chui Long Ju. Just listening to it feels ethereal. If used, it would surely be incredibly stylish. With a lift of the hand, one can subdue the enemy. Master, this thunder immortal technique, Qin Zhengyan was just about to elaborate. These are the cultivation techniques he is optimistic about. Suddenly, the master in the red robe spoke. Jinxia fist. Qin Zhengyan was taken aback. Hurriedly said, Jin Zaya fist. Master, that is the lowest level of cultivation technique. It's just teaching people how to protect Europe with their fists. What did he say? He is also a cultivator at the 5th level of Kai refinement, not to mention flying on a sword. The enemy is 1,000 miles away. At the very least, one should learn a celestial technique for controlling lightning and fire. Fight with bare fists. Is this what a practitioner should do? Zaya Kinglian glanced at him, said softly, You realized it too late. At this age, only at the 5th level of Kai training. The best age for cultivating immortality has passed. Not as good as. What the master said was, Qin Zhengyan felt a bit awkward. He is indeed in his 30s. Only at the 2nd level of Kai training. It's only at a certain age that one gains insight. Although it hurts deeply. It's not too much to ask. Seeing Qin Zhengyan looking defeated, Zaya Kinglian's lips. Unconsciously, it rose again. Then he said seriously, If you question me again next time. Translation error. Yes. Qin Zhengyan quickly agreed. Immediately realized. Asked strangely, Master, this is only our 2nd meeting. How do you know? I am at the 5th level of Kai training. Zaya Kinglian then realized. I just let something slip. Hurriedly said, Yesterday when you acted. I'm right here. One can naturally see your cultivation. Qin Zhengyan imagined the same. Last night, he killed Zhu Kan and Yang Fengshen. Spiritual power reaches its peak. I guess at that time the master. I was already hiding nearby, watching. No need to delve deeper now. Respectfully said, Master, the disciple will go tomorrow to buy the golden mist spring. Zaya Kinglian clasped her hands behind her. The morning light softly breaks. Every other day, Yin Shisin came here to find me. Qin Zhengyan asked, Master, is Silver 13 too late? The disciple worries there won't be enough time to rest. Yin Shisin Qi, it is already past 3:10 in the morning. It's indeed a bit too late. Zaya Kinglian let out a cold snort. This time, he had already calculated it long ago. Qin Zhengyan wakes up every morning. Begin training for 6 hours. Until sometimes. Then refine the elixir for 4 hours. This is the transition from the moment of illusion to the moment of ugliness. Then leave half an hour for oneself. Dual cultivation. After he finishes his dual cultivation, just take another quarter of an hour to get over here. Isn't it just Jian Shisin Qi? Everything has been arranged for you. You should ask more. HMPH. Zaya Kinglian said coldly. What did I just say? It is the disciple's fault. Master, please calm your anger. Qin Zhengyan quickly said, I will arrive tomorrow at 1:13. Come to this place again. Zaya Kinglian let out a sound. Bye-bye, Shu. Go ahead. Is it? Qin Zhengyan bowed and saluted. Only then did they turn and leave, watching his figure disappear into the distance. Zaya Kinglian remembered this guy. The earlier respect and fear couldn't help but burst into laughter. In an instant, it was like an iceberg melting. Spring snow melts. The magnificent scenery of the mountains and cliffs, all wet and colored. Just the next moment, on that stunningly beautiful egg-shaped face, once again covered by frost, a moment of silence. A shadow flickered, disappearing into the snowfield after a stick of incense. Qin Zhengyan returned home, entered the bedroom. Kyuje sat by the bed. She asked softly, "Huh?" Qin Zhengyan walked over and sat down beside him. "I have taken that senior as my teacher." Kyuje heard the call to apprenticeship. "I'm just a bit annoyed. David, don't turn your head away. I don't want to pay attention to him." At that moment, Qin Zhengyan leaned in closer. Rubbing his hands, he said, "Jai-hei, it's late at night. We should take a break." Kyuji's body stiffened. "I am now his master. Do we really have to? What should we do?" "Jai-hei, what's wrong with you?" Qin Zhengyan meets Kyuje. "It seems like you're lost in thought." Asked strangely, Kyuje came to his senses. "Subconsciously shifting my body. Stay a bit farther away from him. Today He felt a bit confused. "I want to find a reason. Let's put it off until tonight and talk later." Next moment, Qin Zhengyan unexpectedly leaned closer, suddenly reached out and hugged him. Kyuje suddenly stopped. "Dai, in the past, it was always you who took the initiative. How about we give it a try tonight?" "I will take the initiative. Qin Zhengyan is feeling very bold today." Holding Kyuje tightly, whispered softly in his ear. This is still his first time. Embracing Kyuje wholeheartedly, I only felt the lady's cheeks and embroidered hair. All exude a faint scent of melancholy. Tonight he wants to take the initiative. This is also after Qin Zhengyan broke the killing ban. There has been a change in mindset, although I act more cautiously than before. But in my heart there was a bit more recklessness and wildness. For example, in the matter of training with my wife, he began to try to take control instead of being a guest, turn over and become the master once again. At this moment his lips were against Kyuji's ear. The hot air blew on his face. That round little face. Suddenly a wave of red honey rose. Qin Zhengyan was seeing it for the first time. Kyuje looks so shy. The man's charisma is even more pronounced. A hearty laugh, gently grasping Kyuji's fragrant shoulders. "Dai, don't move. Don't speak. Let me do it. The story isn't over yet." A powerful force struck. The positions of the two people instantly reversed. "Dai, you..." Kyuji restrained Qin Zhengyan, with a shy expression on her tilted face. Silver fangs tightly clenched. In the end, I finally understood. His master is Zaya Kinglian. What does it have to do with me, Kyuje? After the 7 times of the 100 plays, the bedroom fell silent. Kyuje had his back to Qin Zhengyan. Operation and adjustment of breathing, suppressing the pain brought by the fire palace in the frozen abyss. Slowly resolve. At the same time, on his cheek, still carrying a blush that would never appear on ordinary days. "Dai," Qin Zhengyan's voice echoed from behind. "Were you just now?" Made a sound. Kyuje immediately denied. "And I just didn't know why." Kyuje couldn't help but remember. Qin Zhengyan bows to his own robe. The scene of bowing to Kinglian to become a disciple. Strange emotions surged within my heart. That's why I was a bit out of line earlier. Of course, such things can never be admitted. Really not. Qin Zhengyan found it a bit strange. Not available. You heard it wrong. Sleeping, Qiuzhi said coldly. Good. Sleep well. Qin Zhengyan smiled. No further questions were asked. However, he felt quite joyful inside. Although I couldn't turn over successfully tonight. But his relationship with Qiuzhi has a couple. However, it has been elevated a notch. Couples emotions in overtime. Marital feelings. 40,100. Stages of marital relationship. He knows your thoughts. You do not understand his intentions. Jia Chen. 2. Gain cultivation points. 28. The illusory words appeared before my eyes. His relationship with Qiuzhi has a couple. Surprisingly, it increased by 10 points. Reached 40 points. Jia Chen also became 2. In this way, labor once. You can earn 4 cultivation points. Qin Zhengyan will work 7 times. Gained 28 points. All contributed to the cultivation. Cultivation, 5th layer of Chi refinement, 345, 2000. Linchin, medium level fire spiritual root, 527, 1000. Ice elemental intermediate spiritual root, 534, 1000. Qin Zhengyan felt a surge of excitement in his heart, not just because can gain more cultivation points, also because of myself, the relationship with Qiuzhi, finally getting one step closer. This is not just reflected on the panel display, but he could feel it personally. The distance between me and my wife has become closer. For example, now Qiuzhi's cheeks are flushed red, the adorable look of being at a loss. It is something never seen before. Only he knows your thoughts. You don't understand what he means by that. It is said, do I not know enough about the river? Qin Zhengyan had a physical examination, looking at Qiuzhi's, the graceful silhouette. He is like a treasure, still waiting for him to slowly dig it out. 5. One day, I will dig to the deepest part. The next day, Qin Zhengyan woke up early. In the morning, they pulled Liu Su, help oneself cultivate, until sometimes said a word to Qiuzhi, quickly rushed out the door, straight to Danfu Tower. Arrived at Danfu Tower, Tang Jingying saw him. Smile and bow. Qin Daoyu has arrived. They looked up and down at Qin Zhengyan. Surprising path. Qin Daoyu, you seem a bit different today. Qin Zhengyan felt a spirit within. It's because my hands are stained with blood. Has your temperament changed? Then we must be careful. Be careful to hide the killing intent within you. At this moment, I also smile and clasp my hands. That really made shopkeeper Tong laugh. I come today. I want to take another look at those things from yesterday. Tang Jingying understands in an instant. A hearty laugh. Qin Daoyu, please follow me. Bringing Qin Zhengyan back to the second floor. Entered that room. A room filled with manuals on the art of bean curd. Qin Daoyu has a preferred attack method now. Tang Jingying asked with a smile. On the topic of making money, actually, selling stolen techniques is the easiest. These attack methods were obtained through special channels. Choose 200 or 300 snacks. No need to select a small amount of money. Just sell 1,000 snacks like this. The profit is just too high. This is also why Danfu Tower dared to take risks. The reason for secretly selling Dufa-style manuals. After all, a 30% profit can drive a businessman crazy. Let alone the profit from selling the secret manuals is several times higher. Qin Zhengyan smiled as he raised his hand. From the thunder immortal technique, Fire Cloud Immortal Technique, the Water Dragon Secret and other manuals swept across. In the surprised gaze of Tong Jing, finally picked up that book, Jin Ziaquin. Qin Dayu is actually a body cultivator. Tong Jingying was horrified and asked, "The most common among practitioners is the Jiangxiu. Then there are the elements of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, ice, thunder, and so on. The embellishment of sorcery. In any case, no matter what, it's all about holding the immortal method in your hand. Carefree blood. Of course, there are also those who aren't so ethereal. For example, kicking and hitting with feet. The fragrance of the flesh is thin. Most are referred to as physical cultivation. Body cultivation is extremely rare in terms of the power of the technique and the path forward. It also belongs to the lower level. Therefore, the golden cloud spring that only cultivators practice here. It has been here for many years. Still no one cares. I didn't expect Qin Zhenyan to choose this book right away. It's hard to say. It's just some interests. Research it." Qin Zhenyan chuckled. "This manual must have been left behind by someone. I consider it my help to Manager Tong in managing inventory. Can you make it cheaper?" In the end, a fierce bargaining session. Qin Zhenyan paid 710, purchased this original capital, Saikiyuan, exited the secret room on the second floor, returned to the inner hall. Tang Jiangui said to Qin Zhenyan, "Qin Daoyu, the 30 spirit pills you brought 2 days ago. It has been sent to Jinnang's sect. Extremely effective. Yangzhou wants to buy 30 more. Delivery within 10 days. Are you willing to accept?" Wish granted. Within 10 days,